I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Planning Commission of August 25th, 2020. We will start with let me read the standard opening. The information is actually on the agenda that's accessible via the city's website. Please note that due to the COVID-19 emergency and in compliance with state and county shelter-at-home orders, and as allowed by the Governor's Executive Order N-29-20, which allows for a deviation of teleconference rules required by the Ralph M. Brown Act, Planning Commission meetings will be held by teleconference only until further notice. A video stream of the Planning Commission meeting presentations will be live streamed and available to play later on YouTube by accessing the following link: www.prcity.com/YouTube. Rather than attending in person, project applicants and members of the public must call 805-865-7276 to participate via phone. The phone line will open just prior to the start of the meeting at 6:30 p.m., or written public comments can be submitted via email to planning@prcity.com. Written comments received prior to noon on the day of the meeting will be posted as an addendum to the agenda online at www.prcity.com/agenda center/planning-commission-5. That's the number 5. If submitting written comments in advance of the meeting, please note the agenda item. With that, we will move into item B, which is the Pledge of Allegiance. And I would ask that all of the meeting participants mute yourselves if you haven't done so already, so we don't get the feedback. And feel free to join me in your head or quietly in the comforts of your own home with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I think we're ready to move into the roll call.
Yes. Commissioner Davis.
Here.
Commissioner Castillo. Commissioner Kogler.
Here.
Commissioner Christensen. Commissioner Christensen. Commissioner Gibson.
Here.
Commissioner Neal.
Here.
Chairperson Jorgensen. Okay, so the record will reflect that Castillo, Christensen, and Jorgensen are absent. We do have 4, which is a quorum, so we can start the meeting.
Thank you. I would just ask Commissioner Christensen, if you're on or if you're hearing, you show up but you're muted, but if you do come back on, please feel free to unmute yourself and let us know you're there. Item D is staff introductions.
Yeah, Warren Frace, Community Development Director. With me tonight, Darren Nash and Lori Wilson, and then Jessica Ferguson's providing our technical support.
Very good, thank you. Item E is general public comments regarding matters not on the agenda. Do we have any tonight that are not on the agenda?
No, sir, we do not.
Jessica?
We do not have any other comments.
Jessica, can you hear us okay? Shauna, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you.
Okay. Do we have any callers?
No callers waiting.
Mr. Chair, I believe we have no comments from the public.
All right, thank you. We'll move then to item F, which are agenda items proposed to be tabled or rescheduled. We do have one item in this category. It's potentially to continue an item which is not ready for hearing for the Almond-Acre School. Would staff like to provide some comment on this, please?
Yes, we had expected this item to be ready, but it was sent back from some redesign work at the DRC meeting. We did notice tonight for this meeting, so we are recommending the Planning Commission continue this item to an unspecified date, and we will renotice this when it's ready for hearing. So we'll need a vote on that. Motion and vote, please.
Very good, thank you. And I would just kind of note for the record that the Planning Commission did not receive any material on this particular proposed project other than a very brief description. So all of that will be forthcoming when this comes back to us for review. With that, any questions at all by the Planning Commission? Otherwise, I would look for a simple motion from one of the commissioners to continue this to a date uncertain.
This is Commissioner Gibson. I move to continue this item to a date uncertain.
A motioner from Commissioner Gibson. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any discussion by commission? If not, please call the roll.
Commissioner Gibson.
Aye.
Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Neal.
Aye.
Vice Chairperson Kogler.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Very good. We will now move into our public hearings, and we do have one tonight. It is for time extension 20-05 for the Links Golf Course, which is plan development number 15-004. Its conditional use permit 94-005 and vesting tentative track map VTTM 3088 P16-0009. The project is located at 5151 Jardine Road. With that, staff report, please.
Thank you. Good evening, commissioners. This is Lori Wilson. So your item on the agenda tonight, as mentioned, is the time extension 20-05. This is for the Links Golf Course located at 5151 Jardine Road. And we can go to the next slide. This is a request tonight before you for a one-year time extension for those entitlements just mentioned, PD 15004, CUP Amendment 94005, and vesting tentative track map 3088. Those entitlements were approved a 290 space RV resort located within the existing Links Golf Course. The site's located off of 46 East in Jardine Road. It's highlighted there in the upper right in black for you, just northeast of the Paso Robles Airport. This is a closer look for you, a little bit more detail of the map that was approved. There's an existing 18-hole course there. On the bottom right, it says A and C. That is their existing driveway that they use into the golf course. The RV spaces are all shown to you, kind of outlined and highlighted in white. The approval also included a second access point. It's Title B in the upper right too, off of Jardine Road. So a little bit of background for you. The original project was approved by City Council in June of 2017. It was originally set to expire June 6, 2019. The applicant did file a request, though, to extend that. Planning Commission extended that to June 6, 2020. And now the applicant has requested a second time extension, which would bring this to June 6, 2021. And they are not requesting any changes as part of this time extension. It's just an extension of the originally approved project. The reason for the time extension is due to some sewer work that they're doing on the property. They're well underway with it. I hear that they're actually going to be wrapping it up fairly soon, but they needed that to be complete before they start construction on the RV portion of this. So that is the reason for their request tonight. The options before you tonight would be to approve the one-year time extension, extending it to June 6, 2021. Option 2 is to grant a time extension for a shorter period of time, or you may amend, modify, or reject the above noted options. We do have Rob Miller on the line with us representing the applicant if you have any questions, and I will be available as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Questions of commission members of staff. Commissioner Davis, any questions?
No, just a comment that there was a letter in an addendum. I just want to make sure everyone had a chance to read that.
Thank you. Yeah, there were actually 2 attachments, I think. 2 different parties had replied with some information. And I trust we've all had a chance to at least take a quick look at that. Questions, Commissioner Neal?
None, thank you.
Commissioner Christensen, have you joined us? Apparently not. Commissioner Gibson, any questions?
Maybe just a brief one because I was not on the commission at the time. So I'm just assuming that at the time that this passed, both the planning commission and the city staff, that there was a series of conditions that would remain on the project. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. They had conditions for different improvements along Jardine Road, and there was the CUP that was tied to this that will remain with this extension.
Yeah. So I had assumed that, but I had noted that just as a matter of respect and recognition of the 2 people that took the time to write the letters and address their concerns about this development and the impact primarily on the traffic and that airport road, that somehow that was probably addressed. And I would assume that there's some sort of tie-in with the mitigation of that whole, the airport road, Highway 46 project down the road anyways. So I guess that was my only comment. I just wanted to acknowledge that we did have 2 people that expressed concern on it. And although it's not in this packet, I just kind of assumed it, wanted to go on the record to say that I'm sure that the city council or somebody has some sort of conditions for improvements for the impact that this would be causing. So those are my only comments.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner Gibson. I think that was well placed. What is before the commission this evening?
This is Commissioner Christensen. This is Commissioner Christensen.
Yes.
I was
Go ahead,
in the meeting, and I apologize. I was in the meeting. I don't have any current questions at this time, so I just wanted to make that for the record. Thank you.
Very good. And we'll have the record reflect that you are in attendance at the meeting as well. What I was simply commenting on is and clarify this if I'm stating this incorrectly, please, staff, but the scope of the commission's actions tonight really is to address the requested time extension. We have seen that there's no changes to this project, and we as a commission have not been given volumes of background material. So this is a time extension request, and that's basically the limits of our action. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Very good. Thank you. With that, any other questions that all the commissioners have of staff? Otherwise, we will open the public hearing. Hearing none, we will open the public hearing, and I think perhaps appropriately ask Mr. Miller if you have any comments that you would like to make.
Thank you, commissioners. Appreciate you taking the time for this one item. I did just want to thank the city for working diligently with us over the last year to bring sewer to the property. At one point, we thought we'd have to do a very large on-site system with a large leach field. But thanks to staff's work and work with the airport, we have sewer being extended as we speak. We're in construction. And also some of the fire flow limitations that we had on Beacon Road have now been resolved with the recently completed city water main project. So we wanted to wait for the key utilities to come up to speed before developing the RV spaces. So over the next 12 months, you will see more activity out there, including the first phase of the RV park. So thank you for your patience, and we do look forward to moving this forward.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Do any of the commissioners have any questions for the applicant before we go to the public hearing? Hearing none, we will open for comments from the public. Do we have anybody waiting to provide comment on this?
We do. We have one caller, Tom Erskine.
We have one caller. Tom Erskine.
Okay. Mr. Erskine, welcome. We're getting some feedback. We've got a few technical issues tonight, but we're working through it. Do you have information that you would like or comments that you would like to add, Mr. Erskine? Please do so.
Oh, I told the lady that I was available if you had any questions of us. But like Rob said, we've been waiting and working diligently with the city for probably 5 years to get the sewer to the property in lieu of doing a large leach field septic tank system. And as we speak, we're digging across from the Warbirds to our property, and I hope to keep moving forward to, like Rob said, completing the first phase. So I hope you'd give us a time extension. And that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Do we have anybody else on the line who would like to comment?
There are no more callers.
Okay. I would just note for the record that the commission was provided information that was sent by Marriott Baldwin and Valerie Kiker, and we have a chance to review that and to understand the comments that were offered. Seeing no additional comments, I would close the public hearing, and I would bring this back to discussion by the commission. Any discussion by the commissioners? I don't think we need to go in rank order on this, so if anybody has something, please feel free to offer it.
Since this is Sherry, we're just looking at a time extension here. I would be happy to posit a motion if my fellow commissioners are ready.
Commissioner Christensen.
You cut out for the last portion of comment, Ty. Could you please repeat that?
I was just saying that I would be in favor of a motion.
Okay.
Okay, Commissioner Kogler, I would move that the Planning Commission approve draft resolution A, approving the request for a one-year time extension for PD 15-004, CUP 94-005 amendment, and VTTM 3088 to June 6th, 2021.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second the motion.
We have a second from Commissioner Christensen. Any further discussion on this item by commission members? If not, we'll call the question, and please staff take the roll call.
Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Christensen.
Aye.
Commissioner Neal.
Aye.
Commissioner Gibson.
Aye.
Vice Chairperson Kogler.
Aye. The motion carries.
Passes 5-0.
Very good. We have no other hearings tonight, so we'll move into item H on the agenda, which is discussion items by staff.
There are no discussion items tonight.
We are just breaking speed records on this meeting. Item I is the consent calendar. We do have minutes to take action on. We have DRC minutes from July 13th and August 3rd, and perhaps we'll take those first, and then we'll move on to the planning commissions after that. Are there any discussion points or changes to the minutes of the Development Review Committee for July 13 and August 3? Hearing none, I would look for a motion from the commission to approve the minutes.
As Commissioner Gibson, I move approval of the Development Review Committee minutes for July 13th and August 3rd of 2020.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor? Just do an aye on this, Warren, or do we need a call of votes?
Let me just call the roll.
Very good.
Commissioner Gibson.
Aye.
Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Neal.
Aye.
Commissioner Christensen.
Aye.
Vice Chairperson Kogler.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Very good. We'll move on to the next item on our consent calendar, number 3, which are Planning Commission minutes for approval from July 14, July 28, and August 11th. Are there any comments or questions by any of the commissioners on the minutes of any of those three meetings?
This is Commissioner Davis. I was present on July 14th, so I would call for a correction there.
Did you catch that, Warren? I assume that correction
Yes.
can easily be made. Very good.
You have that?
Any other comments or questions on any of those three Planning Commission meeting minutes? Hearing none, I would look for a motion of approval.
This is Commissioner Gibson. I move approval of the Planning Commission minutes for July 14th, July 28th, and August 11th with the correction noted that Commissioner Davis was in attendance at the July 14th meeting.
I'll second that.
Very good. We have a motion by Gibson, second by Davis. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Gibson.
Aye.
Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Neal.
Aye.
Commissioner Christensen.
Aye.
Vice Chairperson Kogler.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Item I on our agenda is other reports. Are there other reports from those that are listed? Let's see, we don't have any specific on the agenda. We have the committee, we have the Housing Constraints and Advisory Committee Housing Element Update Process. Report, please.
Yes. So the City Council Planning Commission met recently in a joint session to review the housing element. They provided direction to staff on submitting that to the California Department of Housing for review. That has been done. The housing element is currently being reviewed by HCD. We do expect to have comments back in the next month or so, and we're moving toward a Planning Commission meeting in November for final hearings, and then on to City Council by December.
Okay, very good. Any questions of staff regarding the Housing Constraints Committee and the element itself? We are moving right along. Hearing none, we'll move into item J, Planning Commissioners' comments. We'll run down the line. I'll start with Commissioner Neal. Any comments?
No comments.
Okay, Commissioner Christensen, any comments? Commissioner Christensen.
Christensen has none.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioner Gibson.
Just one, just as a reminder, I'm going to be out of town next Monday. And Mark, just confirmation, are you covering for me at the DRC meeting?
I knew I was covering for somebody. I didn't recall who, but now I know for sure.
Right.
I will be there.
All right. Thank you very much.
No problem. Very good. Commissioner Davis, any comments?
No comments this evening. Thank you.
And I have no comments as well. We move then into item K, which are staff comments.
Just a couple quick updates for you. The Planning Commission's made a recommendation regarding the Beechwood specific plan to City Council. That was agendized for next week's council meeting, but the staff report isn't complete. There's still a couple minor issues on the development agreement to be resolved. So it will show up on next week's council agenda to be continued, date certain to September 15th. So right now we are targeting September 15th for the public hearing on the Beechwood specific plan. We do expect the Almond Acres item probably to be ready by October. Right now we have one item. It's a detached accessory structure scheduled for your September 8th Planning Commission meeting. And that'll conclude staff's report.
Very good. Any further questions or comments by the commission? I assume my fellow commissioners are probably more diligent than I was. When I picked up my packet for this meeting, I neglected to take my binder back from the Beechwood project, but I assume, Warren, we can drop those off at the library whenever it's convenient and you can reutilize those?
Yeah, anytime's fine.
Okay, will do. If there's nothing else that needs to come before this group tonight, I would seek a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
A motion from Commissioner Davis.
I will second.
And we have a second. I think that's
From
an
Joel.
all in favor. Yes, Commissioner Neal. We don't need a roll call on this, do we, Warren?
No, you don't.
Okay, all in favor, aye.
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 Very good. Folks, we're done for tonight.
All right.
Thank
Good
you,
night,
Mark.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
All right, thank you.